Welcome to Garden Blooms, Bring Garden to Life, where we turn ordinary outdoor spaces into beautiful, functional gardens that feel like a page from a storybook. Today we're stepping into a romantic cottage garden chic design that transforms a simple backyard into a fairy-tale-like oasis full of soft colors, winding paths, and cozy nooks. Imagine walking through your own little village of flowers, where every corner invites you to pause, breathe, and remember why you love being outside. This is not just a makeover, it's a journey into a garden that reflects your style, tells your story, and feels deeply personal. Together, we'll explore how to shape the layout, choose plants, and add details so your space feels both dreamy and practical. You'll see how even a small yard can bloom with personality, structure, and a little bit of magic. Before we dive in, I'd love for you to subscribe to Garden Blooms so you don't miss our next garden transformations. Like this video if you're excited about a romantic cottage garden, and comment below with your favorite garden style or the biggest challenge you're facing in your own backyard. Whether you have a big yard, a small balcony, or a shared community plot, this is your reminder that any space can bloom with a little design and a lot of heart. Step through the gate and feel the space welcome you with a soft, flowing mix of colors and textures, like the first page of a fairy tale pressed into real life. The eye is drawn to a gentle curve of pale stone and gravel, bordered by low lavender, daisies, and creeping thyme that hug the path like a living ribbon. Everything feels slightly untamed but still designed, as if the garden knows exactly where it should go and where it should spill over. Low cottage-style shrubs frame the view, guiding your gaze toward a distant arch and a small bench waiting under a canopy of climbing vines. As you stand there, it's easy to imagine this as your own quiet escape, somewhere you can sip tea in the morning, read on a soft cushion in the afternoon, or wind down with a warm drink as the light softens. Imagine walking down a gently curving path that seems to pull you deeper into the garden, like a soft invitation to explore. The line of the path is intentionally uneven, so it feels relaxed and organic, but still clearly defined by carefully laid stones or pavers edged with low grass or creeping thyme. To either side, the borders are soft and layered, with taller plants rising behind low cushions of foliage and flowers, so the view feels full but never chaotic. From a design perspective, this curved layout does more than look pretty. It improves flow, hides the edges of the yard, and makes the space feel larger than it really is. Step closer to the edges of the garden and you'll see how the borders feel like soft, living frames around the space, filled with layers of color and texture. Neatly edged beds hold low cushions of lavender, daisies, and creeping thyme at the front, while just behind them, roses, cosmos, and foxgloves rise taller, creating a gentle tiered effect. Each plant is chosen to overlap just enough that nothing looks empty, yet the overall shape still feels organized and intentional. Light spills through the gaps between stems, catching the edges of petals and leaves so the borders feel alive and slightly animated. These flower-filled borders are both pretty and practical. They hide fences or walls, soften hard edges, and give the garden a sense of depth. They also make the space feel cozy and enclosed, like a safe little room outdoors, while still letting light and air flow through. As you move deeper into the garden, the first true focal point appears, a graceful archway that marks the transition from the entry path into the heart of the space. The arch is painted in a soft white or muted gray, its frame clean and modern, yet softened by an abundance of climbing roses and clematis that drape over the edges in soft cascades. From the front, the arch feels like a gentle invitation to step through and discover what lies beyond. From the back, it becomes a beautiful backdrop for a bench or a small table, almost like a stage set for quiet moments. Design-wise, this arch does three things. It draws the eye, defines zones without a wall, and makes the space feel more like a sequence of scenes rather than one flat view. Nestled into one side of the garden is a cozy seating corner that feels like a secret hideout, tucked away yet still fully connected to the rest of the space. A simple wooden bench or a pair of matching chairs sits on a small gravel or stone pad, framed by tall flower borders and a low climbing plant on a nearby post or trellis. textures here feel particularly inviting. Smooth wood with a light wash of paint, a soft cushion in a neutral or pastel tone, and the organic roughness of the surrounding plants and stones. From a design standpoint, this cozy seating area is carefully placed so it doesn't block the flow of the path but still feels like a destination. As you wander through the garden, your eye catches little vintage details that feel like quiet Easter eggs rather than loud decorations. A small iron gate painted in soft black or dark green marks a side path, its delicate scrollwork framing a cluster of lavender and daisies. In one corner, a small vintage sign or a simple number plaque leans against a post, adding a subtle sense of place without cluttering the space. A wrought iron lantern or two line the edges of the path, catching the light in the evening and giving the garden a slightly old-world feel, even though the layout itself is clean and modern. Seen from a design perspective, these vintage touches are carefully placed where they enhance flow and focal points instead of blocking views. A small gate invites you to peek through, a lantern marks the edge of the path, a weathered planter adds structure at the base of a taller border. As the sun begins to dip, the garden transforms into a softly glowing space, where practical lighting becomes part of the story. Delicate fairy lights drape along the archway and over a nearby trellis, their tiny bulbs catching in the leaves and petals like scattered stars caught in a net of green. In the seating corner, a small lantern or two adds just enough light to see the cushion and table without washing out the colors of the flowers. The glow reflects softly off the stone or gravel, creating a subtle sparkle that feels cozy instead of clinical. From a design perspective, this layered lighting plan is intentional. It follows the shape of the path, highlights key features like the arch and the seating corner, and hides any harsh, single-point sources. As you look more closely at the garden, the magic really lives in the palette of plants. Colors that feel soft and romantic, yet still clear and intentional. Pale pink and blush roses dance with creamy white blooms and soft lavender spikes, allied by gentle sage and emerald green foliage that keeps the space feeling fresh instead of overwhelming. In the front of the beds, low plants like creeping thyme, daisies, and cushion-style sedums create a tidy carpet that highlights the curving line of the path. Behind them, taller stems of cosmos, foxgloves, or alliums add vertical interest without feeling stiff, like soft towers of bloom that gently sway in the breeze. From a design point of view, this plant palette is chosen to maximize both beauty and ease of care. Repeating a few soft colors across the garden creates rhythm, while a limited number of taller accents keeps the eye moving without distraction. As you move through the space, you'll notice the garden is divided into several small, functional zones that each feel like a mini room outdoors. There's the entrance path and archway, which act like a living room, drawing people in and setting the mood. Near the house, a small practical zone holds herbs, compact vegetables, or potted plants that are easy to reach for cooking, so the romantic look doesn't come at the cost of usefulness. From a design perspective, these functional zones make the garden feel like it truly belongs to real life, not just to photos. Even with its romantic, fairy-tale-like appearance, this garden is designed to be manageable, not overwhelming. A simple weekly routine keeps the space healthy and beautiful. A quick walkthrough to deadhead spent blooms, a light trim of any leggy stems, and a check on the edges of the path so the stone or gravel stays neat. Because the layout is clear and the zones are defined, maintenance feels like a series of small tasks instead of one big chore. In the seating corner, a quick brushing of the bench and a fresh cushion are enough to keep it inviting. Over time, the garden will evolve. Some plants may spread, others may need to be moved or replaced, but that's part of the charm. The structure stays with the arch, the curved path, and the functional zones as anchors, while the plants gently shift around it. As the sun settles and the fairy lights start to glow, this romantic cottage garden feels less like a picture and more like a place you already belong. Every arch, every curve of the path, and every cluster of soft petaled flowers has been thought out to feel dreamy, but still practical enough for everyday life. You can imagine mornings with coffee on the bench, evenings chatting under the arch, and lazy afternoons watching the light change on the flowers and ferns. What began as an ordinary backyard has slowly transformed into a fairy tale-like escape, but one that's built for real people, real routines, and real seasons. The design gives you structure and flow, the plants bring color and softness, and the little details, like vintage touches and glowing lanterns, add personality without clutter. It's proof that even a small space can feel like a thriving, personalized garden oasis if you design with heart and a little bit of intention. If you'd like to continue this journey together, I'd love for you to subscribe to Garden Blooms, Bring Garden to Life. Like this video if you enjoyed walking through this romantic cottage garden, and comment below with your favorite idea or the biggest challenge you're facing in your own backyard. Whether you have a balcony, a tiny yard, or a shared plot, remember that any outdoor space can bloom with a little design, a little care, and a lot of love.